All right, welcome back. I'm doing something different for this afternoon's video. So, for those of you who are new, I'm Joe. I'm an attorney licensed in the state of Utah, and I'm reacting to something on YouTube, but I'm not going to actually react to the video. So, I am going to say, for those of you who want to see the video, this is the video that KFAR has done a 3-part series on recently. So I'm going to recommend that you all watch KFAR's video series on it. He did a good job. So he kindly sent me this video, and I said, do you know what, KFAR? There's an entire video in the description of this YouTube video. So that's what we're going to do. So for those of you who don't know, this guy is a frequent flyer sovereign citizen in Maryland, and he has had multiple cars and motorcycles towed and received multiple tickets. He has multiple appearances on the Van Balian channel and on KFAR and various others. I mean, he's a frequent flyer, so lots of people have covered him. But so the background for this is he's had his cars towed. He did not collect them from the impound yard, so they were sold to pay the impound fees. And he has sued because of that. He sued in the Greenbelt, Maryland federal court, and the case was dismissed because he didn't properly serve the defendants. He didn't serve them, or at least they allege he didn't serve them. They did a motion to dismiss for improper service. That's a 12B4, I believe. Either way, it's a 12B motion, one way or another. So they did a motion to dismiss. He didn't respond. So it was dismissed. Or no, sorry, it hasn't been dismissed. There's an order to show cause saying, Mr. Sovereign Citizen, tell this court why we shouldn't dismiss based on your failure to serve the defendants and failure to respond to their motion to dismiss. And his argument is, just hurry up and dismiss it so I can go to the Court of Appeals. So let's look at his description and discuss it. So the video is titled Corruption in the Federal Courthouse in Greenbelt, Maryland. October 23rd, 2023. Camera footage. All right. I received an order to show cause, giving the defendants more time. The judge, Peter J. Messitt of the United States District Court in Greenbelt, Maryland, wants me to file a motion or answer some fictitious motion that these defendants allegedly file. I'm well past 30 days now on 45 days on the last 2 orders this judge issued, stating that he would dismiss my lawsuit for failure to show cause why I didn't serve these defendants. I'm still waiting. It's past 30 days now. This is terrible grammar, so it's hard to read. I thought this would be an order dismissing my lawsuit so I can go ahead and file the necessary documents in the appeals court. But again, we're giving 10 more days of corruption in this federal courthouse. Free people. If the tables were turned, this case would have been over with because the judge was found in these people's favor, and I probably will be paying them but instead because this is a black man and they thought he was just doing this on his own, and now they don't got caught up in this foolishness and corruption, and they're trying to cover their asses, but that's not what's going to happen in this case. I'm a patient person. I didn't tell you this would be a dramatic reading. But so he's basically complaining that the judge hasn't dismissed the lawsuit that he filed fast enough. He's saying, look, if I were the defendant and they hadn't served me properly, they would have already dismissed it. But since I filed it, they haven't dismissed it yet. As if this is corruption against him. No, they're giving him a third bite at the apple to say why this case shouldn't be dismissed. But he wants to go to the Court of Appeals. He wants a higher court. But we'll discuss in a little bit why that is moronic. You see, these individuals have got caught in a rat's trap, and they don't know what to do now. But other than get a corrupt person to say this case is dismissed, and believe me, I'm taking it all the way to the highest court, and I will pay whatever it takes to get this case heard in the highest court and get these people this barred and charged with violating my Constitution and civil rights. This kind of corruption in the courthouse needs to stop. Lady Justice in America is supposed to be blind, but she's not. She's a straight whore, and she sells herself out to the highest bidder. Are more corrupt people. Hang on, you say Lady Justice is corrupt and sells herself out to the highest bidder, yet up here, let's see, let's find it. Somewhere it said he doesn't care what it costs. He's going to take it to the highest court. But Lady Justice is a whore and sells herself to the highest bidder. Sounds like if you don't care what it costs, you're the John? Attempting to be the John? If I were Law Talk with Mike, I would insert the clip, "Are you a whore?" after the objection. So, you're not a whore? That's my best Law Talk with Mike clip impersonation. You see, free people, what do you think will happen when these individuals who we gave these documents to are going to come into a courtroom and swear in and say they never gave it to the defendant? Come on, this ain't nothing but smoke and mirrors, trying to cover up corruption within a judicial system that needs to be restructured in America. These defendants are doing whatever they can to not get into a courtroom and be embarrassed of their corruption and criminal ways. So now, free people, we got to wait 10 more days before Judge Peter J. Messett makes a ruling. What I find interesting is that the judge is saying I needed to file something to respond to the defendant Robinson. I don't know what he wants me to respond about. All I got is that he has an attorney. So what does he want to respond about? That best defender never answered my complaint. So it just shows the corrupt in this whole scenario of what's going on here. He never answered your complaint because he did a motion to dismiss. If it's dismissed, he doesn't have to answer it. You do a motion to dismiss before you answer. Because if it's dismissed, you don't have to answer. But if the motion to dismiss is denied, then you answer. It's not some scheme to cheat you. This is the defendant that I went to the post office and mailed him the complaint and the summons, and all I got was a letter saying he has an attorney. What the judge wants me to answer or respond to, okay, he got an attorney. You know what baffles me? And when I go to Washington D.C., I'm going to try to see if I can make it mandatory that serving these documents needs to be served by the U.S. Marshals or by U.S. mail, would return receipts, because there's a lot of corruption going on here. If this attorney files something for this defendant, I never received it, and I'm not going to keep coming to a courthouse who tells me they did this XYZ when they're putting stuff on the docket and it's not getting to both parties. The rule is very clear. Whatever you file in the clerk's office, it needs to go to both parties, be sent to both parties. That's not happening, and I'm going to prove it. What's the clerk of mm, what's the clerk of the court, which is making ridiculous comments and statements that are unfounded? I have one with the sorry. I have one with the clerk. Said they sent something to the same address I received this order from, and every other document, and all of a sudden that document got sent back to the clerk of court. Come on, everything else they receive except this document. And I only find out about these documents after I file my motion or demand for default judgment. But again, free people, we got to wait 10 more days. Matter of fact, it's a couple more days since I filed. He said 10 days from the 17th. So we got a couple more days, and then let's see if he dismissed it. Then we can kick it up to Richmond, Virginia. That's me bowing, the dramatic reading over. So let's discuss this. Let's discuss what was said here. So we don't have to look at the merits of his lawsuit. I mean, it's he'd lose on the merits. He'd lose on the merits. His cars were legally seized. He's in the video, like I said, go watch KFAR. He did a good job. He cut it down into easy to watch snippets. He complains there was no due process because the cars were sold and he didn't get a chance to fight about it in court. Well, the law isn't that they have to go to court to sell the car. It's if they legally tow the car, if you don't redeem it within a certain time, they can sell it to cover their costs. That is the due process. You are given the opportunity to redeem, to claim your car. You didn't, so by law, they sold it. So you're going to lose anyway. But it's dismissed or going to be dismissed because you've been given a show cause to show why it shouldn't be dismissed, because you didn't serve them properly. You tried to serve them by mail. Clearly, you didn't ask them to waive service. You can do that. You can ask them to waive service. But you just served them by mail. You didn't serve them by process server, by an unrelated third party or uninterested third party. You didn't properly serve them. They're not served. They can get this dismissed for lack of service. But you're a galaxy brain. You're playing 4D chess. You want it dismissed because you want to get it kicked up to Richmond, Virginia, the Court of Appeals. Is it the 8th Circuit? Let's take a peek on my phone. Court of Appeals, Virginia. Well, that's not what I wanted because that is state. Circuits. That's what I wanted. Fourth Circuit. I was wrong. Eighth Circuit would be Minnesota, Midwest, basically. Fourth Circuit. So he wants to take it to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals because they're going to hear his case and they are going to give him his cars back. Except there's no such thing as 4D chess, at least not in the courts. So his galaxy brain move is going to fail. Why is it going to fail? Because he's going to appeal to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals in Richmond, Virginia. And he's going to basically restate his complaint as if the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals is going to hear his complaint. They're going to look at it and say, you know what? You win. But there's only going to be one appealable issue. And that is, did the district court in the Greenbelt of Maryland abuse its discretion in dismissing your case for failure to serve the defendant? So you can write everything you want as your appeals brief. The defendant is just going to respond, everything he just said is bullshit. This was dismissed for lack of service. The circuit court reviews dismissals for lack of service on the abuse of discretion standard. There was no abuse of discretion. He served us by U.S. mail. That is not valid service. The dismissal needs to be affirmed. And the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals in Richmond, Virginia is going to affirm it. And then Galaxy Brain here, they're playing into his plan. He's going to take it all the way to the Supreme Court. And they're going to instantly deny certiorari because he's a moron and 4D chess isn't a thing in the courts, especially not with procedure. So that's why this whole thing is absolutely hilarious. That's why this interminable video description is so hilarious that I had to make a video about it. I may take a peek at Pacer and find the lawsuit, and we may have to look at the complaint just because it might be hilarious. I haven't looked at it. So with that, I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been a 2 for today. Go watch this morning's video. As you know, I'm back to all Scofield versus Guillard all the time. So I'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, for more Scofield versus Guillard. So thanks for joining me. Like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTubey things, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.